from that standpoint. And then stuff wise, it's insane. Like I truly, like, if you had me, I would say he is a better pitcher than a hitter. Like, I still would go with that.
And I think we can never lose sight of the fact that this guy is on another plane from the rest of the MLB guys. He is way up here. And I know we love to tear people down or somehow get bored with their excellence. Never get numb to this guy. It is absolutely crazy to watch a dude strike out 11 dudes in 4 innings in MLB baseball.
熱く語っているのはピッチング忍者の名で知られるロブ・フリードマン氏です。今回はロブ・フリードマン氏が投手大谷翔平について語っている動画をお届けします。ロブ・フリードマン氏は投球映像を重ね合わせるオーバーレイという独自の手法で球の軌道を可視化し、MLB 公認の投球アナリストとして活躍。 SNS 総フォロワー数は150万人以上を誇り、日米で絶大な人気を持つ異色の専門家です。そのフリードマン氏が太鼓判を押す投手大谷翔平の凄み、どのように語られているのでしょうか。動画の最後には日本人投手がもたらしたスプリット革命についても語っておりますので、ぜひ最後までご覧ください。それでは早速日本語字幕でご覧ください。
Welcome back to another Pitching Ninjas top 5 filthiest pitches of the day.
The Japanese jackhammer himself did it again. Yesterday, he added a new notch to his belt by leading off first pitch of the game, jacks it deep, and then gives up no runs in the start, so he beat the Padres all by himself. Did you see anything different out of this start from Shohei, Ninja?
You know, I didn't think he had his best stuff, which sounds really stupid for a guy who's got an ERA of, what, 0.73? But I don't think he did. But, dude, gritted it out. Like, this one inning where he gets runners on first and third, gets a comeback, or a lot of guys just try to turn the double play here. No, he does not want the run to score. He looks the runner back, gets the runner second, and then is like, the big nod to Tatis, that made it for me. He's just like, I got this confidence. Gets Tatis into a double play, ending his outing, giving up no runs, and lets out a big let's go. He even says let's go in English better than I do, and that's his, like, third language. The man can do anything. At number 2, Shohei Ohtani for single-handedly beating the Padres. We discussed a lot of this earlier. He didn't have everything going, but still had enough going. With his sweepers and heaters, picking up 4 Ks in 5 scoreless innings, lowering his ERA to 0.73. Dave Roberts again yesterday said Shohei really wants to win the Cy Young Award, and I do not think that anybody can stop that man from doing anything. If he wanted to be pitching ninja, I'm done.
いかがでしたか。ベストの状態ではなかったと言いながらも防御率 0.73、 その数字が全てを物語っていますね。そして1、3塁のピンチで3塁ランナーを睨みつけて釘付けにし、ダブルプレーではなく確実にアウトを取りに行く判断力。フリードマン氏があれで決まりだと言いたくなるのも納得です。そしてもし大谷がピッチング忍者になりたいと言い出したら、俺は引退するよという一言には思わず笑ってしまいましたが、それだけ大谷選手のあらゆる能力への敬意が込められているんでしょうね。さて、時間を少し巻き戻してみましょう。2022年、フリードマン氏が別の番組に出演した際、大谷選手についてこんなことを語っていました。大谷選手がまだ日本にいた頃から追いかけ続けてきた男だからこそ見えるもの、当時の生の言葉、ぜひご覧ください。
You're wearing his shirt, and I have to ask everybody about him, but Shohei Ohtani. And just speak a little bit, just from the pitching side. We don't even need to get into what he's doing on the hitting and the pitching side. I talk about that enough for everybody. But just talk a little bit about him from what you see, from your perspective on the pitching side, and just how nasty he is.
So this is something that people don't fully understand about, like, my history of it is I've been following Shohei kind of ever since I've been on Twitter. It's not like ever since he's been in the majors. Mm-hmm. I was following him back in Japan because you can learn a lot from his mechanics and how he moved. Because at that point, he was the hardest throwing pitcher in Japan. So, and I picked up on the fact early on that he was just very expressive. So part of what I love about him is you don't have like, you just watch the dude. You can watch him think, you can watch him be funny. You can watch him, you can see into his mind just by reading his face. So I love watching him from that standpoint. And then stuff wise, it's insane. Like I truly, like if you had me, I would say he is a better pitcher than a hitter. Like I still would go with that because he throws, I mean, look what he does. His splitter is unhittable.
Yeah.
He throws over 100. His slider has one of the biggest horizontal breaks in the game. He can flip in a curveball. He can do virtually anything. And I think people get jaded by that. Like some people don't. I will never, and you will never. But some people think, he's all hype. He is not all hype. He's fantastic. Like I drop everything every time he's on the bump just to watch him.
Let me run this by you because I had John Smoltz on very recently and we were talking about Shohei Ohtani, and he said if he just dedicated his time to pitching, he's Jacob deGrom. What do you feel when you hear that?
I think he could be. So I think he's different from Jacob deGrom. I think deGrom gets by on different things. deGrom simplifies everything. So to me, the beauty of deGrom is he does what he does really well and constantly gets better at it. Mm-hmm. I think Shohei's brilliance is in his creativeness. He has a lot of weapons. I think he would be extremely dominant. I think he's just a different pitcher than deGrom. So I would say he would be his own self. He would be Shohei, the legend on the bump, multi-Cy Young Award winner. Yeah, no doubt. I think he would win multi-Cy Young Awards if he concentrated just on.
I love that. And I know I love that because we follow each other on Twitter, and I know you know how much I talk about him. But I truly believe it is deserved, and people can't quite grasp what we are seeing and how impressive it is.
Dude, I feature him because of exactly that. Number one, and I think we both have this too, is that people in Japan are so proud of him. And if I can bring more people and you can bring more people into the sport and watching MLB from Japan and from other countries, I think that's fantastic. But it's also letting fans know here, like, this is a once in a lifetime thing.
Yep.
And he has got an arsenal that is the envy of almost every pitcher in the major leagues who throws like him.
Absolutely.
I mean, like it's, you have like the Corbin Burnses of the world who have a ton of weapons. Shane McClanahan has a ton of weapons. Cole, but he has so many weapons and they're off the charts. And then you've picked up on this too, right? Like when he has runners in scoring position and he bears down and he puts, like, you can see the change in his face where he takes it as a personal affront to let runners score. I love the competitiveness he brings too.
It's almost like Justin back when he was, at the beginning of his career, when runners would get on base, he'd go, okay, here's 94, here's 94. Oh, you're on second base now. Here's 103. And it's almost like the best of the best competitors, of which Shohei is one. It's not that he's not trying when runners aren't on base, but there's that extra gear that they know they don't need to go to until they need to go to it. And when runners get on base, you can literally see it. And this is back to your point of Shohei being so expressive. You can literally see him flip that switch and just go to a new level.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great example of Justin as well. I think a competitor does not want the opposing team to score. They take it as a personal thing. Like, this is my role. My role is to prevent people from scoring. The beauty about Shohei is he said he loves to hit, and this is why he views himself as a better pitcher, because he kind of doesn't want his teammates to have to pick him up. He wants to do it all, and he wants to help his team win on both sides because personally he feels like as a competitor that's what he wants to do. And I love that. Like, how do you not love a guy who wants to, like, he's not doing it all because he's cocky. He's doing it all because he wants his team to win.
Yeah, that's really cool.
いかがでしたか？フリードマン氏が日本時代から追いかけ続けてきただけあって分析の深さがありましたね。球種の凄さはもちろん、ランナーが出ると顔つきが変わる、スイッチが入る瞬間が文字通り見える、マウンド上の表情や内面まで読み取るのはさすが投球分析のプロならではの視点です。本当に素晴らしい。彼が登板するときは必ず手を止めてみると言い切るフリードマン氏。 150万人以上のフォロワーを持つ投球のプロ中のプロがそれほどまでに引きつけられる投手、それが大谷翔平なんですね。次の動画はフリードマン氏が主催した投手のトーナメントが登場します。64人のメジャーリーガーがトーナメント形式で競い合い、2万3000票以上の投票で選ばれた頂点の投手とは一体誰なのか、もうお分かりかもしれませんね。それではご覧ください。
The first Pitching Ninja Award is the People's Choice Award for the filthiest pitcher of 2022. To determine this, I conducted a tournament of 64 of the filthiest pitchers in the major leagues. And if you're thinking of a filthy pitcher, yes, that pitcher was in the tournament. I then had my 420,000 Twitter followers vote on each round, and the winner of each round got to advance to the next round. With over 23,000 votes cast in the finals, the winner of the 2022 Pitching Ninjas People's Choice Award for the filthiest pitcher in the major leagues was Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani beat Jacob deGrom by a margin of 55% to 45%. Importantly, the vote was not for the best pitcher in the major leagues, it was for the filthiest, so be sure to keep that in mind. Shohei Ohtani is a well-deserving winner. He was first in the AL in strikeouts per 9 innings with 11.9, second in all of baseball, .12 behind Carlos Rodon for the MLB lead. And I know wins aren't important, but he had 15 wins for an Angels team that only had 73 wins, with no one else on the Angels having more than 8 wins. And finished the season with a 2.33 ERA. Ohtani was 6th in baseball with 219 strikeouts in 2022, despite only throwing 166 innings. He only had 2.4 walks per 9 innings and finished with a 4.98 strikeout to walk ratio, which is outstanding. He had the third lowest FIP in baseball and the second lowest xFIP. Other things which back up Ohtani as the filthiest pitcher in baseball is he was 5th on in-zone swings and misses and 2nd in out-of-zone swings and misses behind Shane Bieber, meaning he could beat you in the zone and get you to chase out of the zone, a sign of pure filth. And yes, he was the first player in baseball history to qualify for the ERA title as well as the batting title, and led all pitchers with 34 home runs this year. I know that's not a sign of filth, but it shows you what a unicorn Shohei really is. Looking at what made Ohtani so filthy, his slider was the second most valuable pitch in baseball in terms of run value, behind Dylan Cease's slider. Ohtani had a 38% whiff rate on that slider and a 159 batting average against. Shohei's slider was a real sweeper, averaging 13.7 inches of horizontal break, while throwing it at 85.3 miles an hour on average. To give you an idea of what makes that so unhittable, this break is 7.5 inches more than average for that speed, or 121% more than average. Undoubtedly one of the best sliders in baseball. Ohtani's splitter, which is usually thought of as his filthiest pitch, also was disgusting in 2022 with a 48.8% whiff rate. And that is the highest whiff rate of any starting pitcher's splitter in baseball. Opponents only hit 125 against that splitter with a 103 expected batting average against it, meaning when hitters weren't whiffing at the splitter, they were getting weak contact as well. Shohei's curveball was also a weapon with a 42% whiff rate on that curveball, and that whiff rate was 24th in baseball overall, even counting relievers. And let's not forget, Ohtani has a wicked cutter, a fastball that touched 101.4 miles an hour this season and averaged 97.3. And yeah, he introduced a sinker this year in the middle of the season. And that sinker was upper 90s, touching 100, and was pure filth.
いかがでしたか？データで見るとさらに凄さが際立ちますね。スプリットの空振り率 48.8%、スライダーの変化量が同速度帯の平均より 121% 大きいという数字は改めて見ても驚かされます。しかもそれだけの投球をしながら同じシーズンに34本塁打。まさにユニコーンという表現がぴったりです。フリードマン氏が主催するトーナメントでジェイコブ・デグロムを破って頂点に立ったというのも納得の内容でしたね。最高の投手ではなく最もエグい投手という基準での受賞というのがまた面白い視点です。 次の動画では野球ジャーナリストのバスター・ウォルニーと共に大谷選手の投球について語っています。地球を救うために一人の投手を選ぶとしたら誰かという究極の質問が飛び出し、そしてサイ・ヤング賞についての本音も語られます。果たしてどんな答えが返ってくるのでしょうか。それではご覧ください。
If you had to pick one pitcher to save the planet, who would you pick to pitch that game?
So this is a tough question because if we're talking one inning, I'm going with Mason Miller.
Sure.
If we're talking a whole game and it's against humans, I'm probably going Paul Skeens or Yamamoto if we have short rest.
Wow.
But
okay.
If we're pitching against aliens, I'm going Shohei Ohtani because I am not convinced he is human.
Yeah, I saw you had the caption on your video that you posted from him last night. You and I are talking on Wednesday morning, and on Tuesday night, he struck out 11 guys.
In 4 innings. And I am not so I saw him in the Tokyo Dome and I saw him take BP and I sat in the upper deck and there were balls flying over my head. And I was like, I've never seen anything like that. And then you see him pitch. And I think we can never lose sight of the fact that this guy is on another plane from the rest of the MLB guys. He is way up here. And I know we love to tear people down or somehow get bored with their excellence. Never get numb to this guy. It is absolutely crazy to watch a dude strike out 11 dudes in 4 innings in MLB baseball.
Yeah, you feel like a hyperbole king when you say he's the greatest player who ever played. I don't even think it's a question. Like I've actually, when I've done some radio stuff, I've gotten pushback or people like, really? You think he's better than Babe Ruth or whatever name they might throw out there? I'm like, yeah, and it's not even close. It's not even a conversation. He obviously is doing what he's doing as a hitter. And he's talking in spring training about maybe winning a Cy Young award. And I got to say, when I heard that, I was like, nah, that's stupid. He can't win one. He needs the extra rest. He's not going to pitch the 32 games typically the way a school does. But then the more that I think about it, and the more, I see video like yours from his outing on Tuesday night, I kind of wonder if he might be able to do it.
Does he not have, he has the stuff to be a Cy Young Award winner. I don't think there's any doubt, inning for inning. The question is how many innings he pitches. And if he gets there, there's a chance he can get close to the number. And if he puts up enough, good enough stats, I think you got to strongly consider him. Obviously, Skeens is, I love Paul Skeens. I think Paul Skeens is kind of a lot of what's right with pitching. He does things the right way. He carries himself the right way. But Shohei is absolute freak.
Yeah, he is. And to your point, let's say he makes 26 starts this year. If he goes 6 innings per start, which I think would probably be on the high end for what, because the Dodgers' message to their pitchers is just go out and throw the shit out of the ball for as long as you can, and then we'll come and get you when your stuff goes down, regresses. Let's say he gets 156 innings. He wouldn't qualify for the ERA title. And I would be curious to see how voters feel about that when they, cast their vote for that award. All right.
いかがでしたか？地球を救うために一人の投手を選ぶならという究極の質問への答え、なかなか衝撃的でしたね。そしてサイ・ヤング賞についても、最初は懐疑的だった解説者が大谷選手の投球を見るたびに、もしかしたら本当にやってのけるんじゃないかと本気で検討し始めているのが印象的でした。次の動画では視点が大谷選手個人から日本人投手全体に変わります。テーマはスプリット。実は今メジャーリーグ全体でスプリットが爆発的に流行しているのですが、その背景に日本人投手の存在があるというんです。そして大谷翔平選手、山本由伸選手、佐々木朗希選手、それぞれのスプリットについても語られています。果たしてワールドシリーズ第7戦2アウト2ストライクで最も相手にしたくないスプリットとは誰のものなのでしょうか。それではご覧ください。
Ninja, we're headed into the World Series. I've noticed both teams' pitchers throw a ton of splitters, and many of the guys, it's their best pitch or their strikeout pitch. We got Gossman, Savage, Yamamoto, Sasaki, Shohei even. What's with the recent explosion in splitters?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the splitter was a dead pitch for a while, and it was also the hottest pitch for a while. It started out as a hot pitch. Bruce Sutter created his Hall of Fame career
on the split-fingered fastball. Then Roger Craig started teaching it to folks. Way back in 1986, Mike Scott was the freaking terror in baseball with his splitter. It was so nasty that people were constantly wanting to check the ball to see if he was scuffing it, which he may have been. But it was nasty. I mean, there's one famous one where Gary Carter turns to the umpire, and then Scott's like, oh yeah, F you, here's another splitter. And it was nasty. But we ended up doing away with splitters because I think in the 90s to 2000s, people thought they were causing injuries. So you had some of the greatest pitchers. You had Bruce Sutter, Mike Scott, Dave Stewart, Jack Morris, all throwing splitters. And then it kind of went away because everybody thought it caused injury. Just anecdotal evidence. Some splitter pitchers got injured. Interestingly, in Japan, they learned the splitter, but never stopped throwing the splitter when we stopped throwing it. We were worried about injuries. They didn't stop. It turns out the splitter really doesn't cause injuries any more than any other pitch. Now we have biomechanics and analytics that we can tell that. But then it was just based on, oh, so-and-so got hurt, he threw a splitter, and now we've got to stop throwing splitters. So the splitter works because it looks like a fastball out of hand. Here's my interview with Roger Clemens, where he talks about what a hitter sees when he throws a splitter.
Mine was, I would just basically split it. It's not a fork ball, so there's a little gap right there in the back of my fingers. And the other key thing is my thumb. Thumb underneath, it pretty much goes down. Thumb, I sneak my thumb up to the side a little bit. It makes it go away from a left-hander. And it was a great pitch because you're seeing fat wrists come at you. So you're thinking you're getting 95 and you're getting 85.
You think of a fastball, you're seeing it come through like that. And a splitter is coming through like that too. So you're seeing the same thing as a hitter, where a curveball, it's more like that. A slider will be different. A changeup, you might see some pronation, unless you're throwing a kick change. So it looks just like a fastball, except it isn't a fastball. So the split in the fingers kills some of the spin, makes it a little more unpredictable, reduces the snap from your wrist, as well as reduces some of the velocity because you're not totally behind the ball. Your fingers are spread out.
Can you explain why the recent explosion in just the percent increase of guys throwing it seems to have skyrocketed recently? Is there an event that happened that made this the case?
Not an event necessarily. It's just because it's effective and we realized that it wasn't causing any more injuries. So once that happened, and I guess you can say an event was watching Japanese pitchers come over and dominate with splitters because they never stopped teaching it over there. Come over and just absolutely destroy people with splitters. And everybody's like, that's interesting. This is really hard to hit.
You mentioned the Japanese players coming over, but also the 2023 WBC, that was Japan won too, and they had every one of their guys, it seemed like, was throwing a nasty splitter. And I wonder if the world kind of took note then as well.
Well, 100%. I mean, I think at the time, I posted, this is going to be the big pitch in MLB because everybody's seen how hard it was to hit. And now it's a copycat league. Everybody looks at what's successful and they want to be successful themselves. So people started trying to explore splitters. The interesting thing about splitters is there's like a million different types of grip, depending on what you want to do with the splitter, your hand size, whole bunch of things. Kevin Gausman probably has the most complicated splitter grip of anybody that I've ever talked to. In fact, it's probably the splitter grip that launched 20 more splitters is what we've seen during the season of other pitchers talking about borrowing Kevin Gausman's splitter grip from the interview. But then we have very simple splitter grips, like Trey Savage says he just grips it like this and thinks about cutting the ball a little bit. Cutting the ball is basically a shortcut to getting seam shifted wake. In a pitcher's head, they feel like they're cutting it. It allows the seams to do the work on the pitch and make it run arm side. You have huge differences in the way people throw splitters. We mentioned Gausman and Savage, but Roki Sasaki, technically, I think it's more of a fork ball, wider spread, deeper in his hand, kills a lot more spin. His spin rate is only like 400 or 500 RPMs at times. And then you have guys like Yamamoto who have a little narrower split, less of a gap between his fastball and splitter, but still that same filthiness and drop that he gets on it. There's just so many different variations of it. It's really unfair to even call it a single pitch because it's really multiple pitches. So what we're seeing in the postseason this year is an explosion of splitters. It's over twice as much as the next highest usage in postseason since we've been measuring it. And if you look at specific pitchers on the Dodgers and Blue Jays, it's basically a who's who. Even Shohei's dusted off his splitter and started throwing it again. When he came over, his splitter was his best pitch. Then he fell in love with the sweeper, likely ditching the splitter because he was getting blisters on his fingers. But now in the postseason, he's willing to throw a lot more splitters. It's less likely he'll develop a blister as opposed to throwing it all season. Plus, he's got the element of surprise since hitters haven't seen it from him.
All right, Ninja, final question. 9th inning, Game 7 World Series, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Whose splitter do you least want to face?
I'd say that's a hard question to answer, Will, because like Yamamoto's splitter is ridiculous. Gosman's splitter is his best pitch. To me, Sasaki's splitter is an outlier. It's like trying to catch a butterfly with a baseball bat. It's got such low spin rate and a relatively high velo and just absolutely dropped. And if he throws that with any semblance of control, that's probably the toughest one to hit.
さて、いかがでしたか？今回の動画では2022年から2026年にかけての映像をもとに投手大谷翔平の凄みをさまざまな角度からご紹介してきました。特に印象的だったのはこの言葉ではないでしょうか。もし相手がエイリアンなら大谷翔平で行くよ、彼が人間だなんて確信が持てないからね。半ば冗談のようでいて、しかしその言葉の奥には誰もが感じている驚きが込められているように聞こえました。また分析も圧巻でしたね。スプリットの空振り率 48.8、 スライダーの横変化量が同速度帯の平均より 121% 大きいという数字は改めてデータで見ると本当に異次元です。そして投球だけに専念すればサイ・ヤング賞を何度も取れるという言葉、これは打者大谷の影に隠れがちな投手としての実力を真正面から評価したものとして心に刺さりました。2026年シーズン、投手大谷翔平は異次元の活躍を見せてくれています。サイ・ヤング賞レースに絡むのか、今から楽しみで仕方ありません。皆さんは投手としての大谷選手をどう評価していますか？ぜひコメント欄で教えてください。最後までご視聴いただきありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。